Hello, this lesson covers unit conversions. Often in science we need to convert from one unit to another. For example, if you measure something to have a mass of 1.35 kilograms, but you need to have it in grams, which is a different unit, you will need to convert the units. Using the table below, and I'll show you the table in just a second, we see that 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. We express this equation as a fraction called a conversion factor. And you'll learn how to write these conversion factors in this lesson. Multiplying the starting number, 1.35 kilograms, so that's the number you're given, the one you're starting with, by the conversion factor will give us the answer. And you can see that here. I took the starting number, 1.35 grams, kilograms, the one we want to convert, and I multiplied it by this fraction, this thing we call a conversion factor, and that gives us our answer. Now I set this up very specifically, and if you notice, this kilogram here will get canceled out by this kilogram here, because here the kilogram's on the bottom of the fraction, here it's not on the bottom of the fraction, so they cancel each other out. And I set it up very specifically so that that cancellation will occur. And you can flip these. It could be grams on the bottom and kilograms on top if we were going the other way. If I was going from grams back to kilograms, this conversion factor will be flipped. The way you figure it out, which number's on top, which number's on bottom, is by what you want to cancel. In this case, we want to get rid of kilograms, so kilograms is on the bottom, so that they cancel out. We could also continue to convert this into some other unit, and I'd just add another conversion factor. So if I wanted to convert it into pounds, kilograms to grams and then to pounds, I'd just times another conversion factor. And we'll do an example like that in a second. Now, there are steps for converting between units. The first one is write the starting number and the unit, followed by a multiplication sign and a blank line. Step 2 says write the starting unit on the bottom of the line. So whatever unit you're starting with goes on the bottom, and the unit you're looking for goes on top. Use the table, and I'll show you the table in just a second, to find the equality with both units in it. Then fill in the numbers in front of each unit. Do the math, that is multiply by the top number, divide by the bottom number, cancel the units, and then make sure that you write your answer with the correct number of sig figs, and you have the final unit for your answer. So, this is the table I was referring to, and this will always be given to you. You don't have to memorize any of this information. This information will always be given to you, some sort of table or in the question. These equalities will be given to you. So let's do an example. And a reminder that you should have units and sig figs in your answers. First example is convert 2 kilograms into grams. So, the way I do this, if you remember back your steps, first thing I do is I write the starting number, 2 kilograms. Next thing I do is I write times blank line. The next step is take that starting unit, whatever you're starting with, in this case kilograms, and that goes on the bottom. Now the unit I'm looking for, what I'm trying to convert into, in this case grams, that goes on top. So I have it all set up. Starting unit is on the bottom, so like I said, those two are going to cancel. Now I just got to figure out what the numbers to put in front here. And if I look up here, I see that this equality right here has both kilograms and grams in it. So that's the one I'm going to want to use. Kilograms and grams, because that's what I'm converting between. So, whatever number is in front of kilograms up here, I'm going to put in front of kilograms here. So in this case, I'm going to put a 1 in front of kilograms. if I look up here, my equality, my table, there's a 1,000 in front of grams. So that's what I'm going to put in front of grams. It's 1,000. So I then do my math and take my starting number, 2, I multiply by the top number, so 2 times 1,000, and then I divide by the bottom number, divided by 1, gives me 2,000. My kilograms and my other kilograms canceled, so the only thing left is grams. So my final answer is 2,000 grams. Now let's check the sig figs. How many sig figs do we start with here? We have the 2 is 1 sig fig. We have 1 sig fig here, and since there is no decimal point there, that is only 1 sig fig. You'll notice sometimes my 2's kind of look like Z's. Sorry about that. Now if I were to put a decimal point right there, that would be 4 sig figs, and that would be wrong. So I want to leave the decimal point off and just show it with 1 sig fig. So let's do another example. 5.3 grams into kilograms. So again, this process is always going to be the same. So once you learn this pattern, you can convert anything into anything else once you learn the pattern. First thing, 5.3 grams. That's my starting number. Times blank line. On the bottom of the blank line goes my starting unit. Whatever I start with for the unit always goes on the bottom. Every time. Whatever you start with goes on the bottom. That's the pattern we follow. Whatever we're looking for goes on top. In this example, we're trying to convert it into kilograms. So we're looking for kilograms, so kg. And again, I look up at my table. I find something that has kilograms and grams in it. It's actually the same one we just used. So whatever number is in front of grams up in the table goes in front of grams here. 1,000. Whatever number is in front of kilograms up in the table goes in front of kilograms here. 1. So then I do my math. 5.3 times 1 divided by 1,000. So my answer is 0.0053. If you want to put the 0 in front, you can. You don't have to. Units cancel. Grams cancels grams. We're left with kilograms, so that is our final unit. And then we check sig figs. Starting number, we have 2 sig figs. Ending number, we have 2 sig figs. Remember, zeros in front of small numbers are never sig figs. So those zeros are not sig figs. The 5 and the 3 are our 2 sig figs. Started with 2 sig figs, end with 2 sig figs. We're good. Now another example. This one's a little tougher. How many grams are in 2.35 tons? It's a little tougher, but the pattern is going to be the same. So again, the first thing I do is I write my starting number. 2.35 tons times blank line. And I know that since I'm starting with tons, that has to go in the bottom. Now one thing you'll notice, I'm trying to go to grams. If we look up at our table, there is no tons to grams conversion. So the only ton I see is right here. And I can go from tons to pounds. I'm not looking for pounds here, I'm looking for grams. So what I can do is, if I notice here, I can go from tons to pounds using this. So this will convert tons to pounds. And then right above that I notice, oh, pounds and grams. I can use that to go from pounds to grams. So first I go from ton to pounds, and then pounds to grams. It's a two-step process. So I will actually leave that there so I can see it. And so, again, my first step was tons to pounds. LB is the abbreviation for pounds. If you're not sure of a units abbreviation, just write out the whole word. It's not that hard. Now, pounds is not where I want to get to. I'm going to have to do a second conversion from pounds to grams. So what I want to do here is I just add another times blank line. Now, just like the starting unit goes on the bottom, the top unit from this one has to go on the bottom here. Because what do I want those pounds to do? I want those pounds to cancel. And notice how they're opposite. One on top, one on the bottom. That means they're going to cancel. And that last conversion is pounds to grams. So what I'm looking for here is grams. So that's going to go on top. So I have it all set up. Tons is going to cancel tons. So those will be gone. Pound and pound, those are going to cancel. The only thing left is grams, which is what we're looking for in this question. So, we go back to the original question here. Actually, I'll leave that. Because we still have to fill in our numbers. Pounds and tons. If I look up at the table, in front of tons is a 1, in front of pounds is 2,000. So it has to be that same way in my conversion. Grams and pounds. Well, when grams and pounds are together in the table, grams is 1,000. Pounds is 2.205. And again, double check the cancel. Tons and tons cancel. Pounds and pounds cancel. The only thing left is grams. So, again, in my calculator, I take my starting number, 2.35, times the top number, so times 2,000, divided by the bottom number. You really don't have to do the ones, you can skip the ones, but I'll do it just to show. And then I just repeat that process, times the top number, and divide by the bottom number. So, times the top number, and then divide by the bottom number, 2.205. Now, it's a really big number, and that makes sense because grams are small and tons are big. So there's going to be a lot of grams in a ton. So we get 2131519 dot, and it keeps going. Now, sig figs. I have 3 sig figs at the beginning here. I want 3 sig figs at the end. The first 3 numbers are our sig figs. So, 213, but it's not 213. It's 2,131,000. So I got to fill in with zeros to make sure, actually I need one more 0, that it's still the same number. I'm not going to round 2 million down to 213. If I told you I was going to give you $2,131,000 tomorrow and I showed up with $213, it's a big difference there. So, after we do sig figs, do the unit at the very end, and we're done. So my answer is 2,130,000. All these zeros are not sig figs because I did not put a decimal point at the end. As long as I don't put a decimal point at the end, zeros to the right are not sig figs. So the only sig figs are the 2, the 1, the 3. So started with 3 sig figs, end with 3 sig figs. And that is it for conversions. A very important thing we're going to do in this class, and we will actually have a benchmark exam on this, so very important that you learn it. And that is it.